What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be pulling down my T56, which is for my LS Cressida Build. So check that out if you haven't already. So yeah, we'll get into pulling this thing down. It's got a bit of vibration in fifth. It was developing a bit of a noise and a bit of vibration in third as well. So time to pull it down, give it a refresh before it goes into the Cressy, and hopefully I'll get a fair bit of life out of it. First step, take it out of the car. Take off your bell housing, take off your throwout bearing and your clutch slave. I've also taken off the shifter assembly because I had to get it out of the car. So basically down to just the box on its own here. You're also going to want to sort out a bit of a bench situation so that you can have the box stood up on its face and keep the input shaft through something. So what I'm going to do today is just push these benches together so that I can stand the box up that way. A lot of people use purpose-built benches for them, any that sort of thing, but your box sort of needs to be upright for you to get the gears apart. Another little tip, guys, these towels from Kmart, $3 each. Awesome for doing this sort of stuff. You can lay out all your gearbox stuff and engine stuff, whatever you want them, just as long as you clean it all before it goes back together, which I know you will be anyway. But you better be. But anyway, like 7 towels, $20 or so, is pretty handy for this sort of stuff. This is what it looks like with your towel housing off, guys. So you got here reverse, and down in here 5th and 6th. And in the back of the tail housing here, you've actually got the reverse idler, which is how that all works. This first one here, that's your speedo drive. This rubber grommet sort of just pulls up, seal thing. All right, before I go any further, I'll just show you a bit of how this actually works. So this here is your counter shaft. This is your main shaft, which houses, basically these just house your gears. So the way this works, this is the selector fork for reverse. You can see here you have, I suppose, your selector sort of unit. In between the gear and that there is your Synchro. And what it is for, it's a bit different for first and second to the rest of the box, and I'll show you as I pull it apart. And these gears basically freewheel on the shaft, and they get engaged by this after the Synchro slows the gear down. It engages that gear and then you're on your way. And as far as reverse goes, it engages that gear which actually spins the idler inside the case, and that's how it actually spins backwards. That's how reverse works. But I'll show you more about it as I go. Alright, so you can see here now I've got reverse gear off. See this selector fork, as you pull back, it pushes obviously your engagement ring up into the gear, like so. You can see where it wears, sorta. This is not too bad, but you can see where it's flattened out on the engagement gears. And that's sort of where it grinds as you try and get it into gear. Obviously you can see where it does wear the teeth on the engagement ring as well as the teeth on the gear, just from grinding, trying to get that in. So if the Synchro pad is worn, which I'd say that is, it's not slowing down the gear enough when you're trying to engage reverse, and it's grinding on the teeth, and that's what ends up happening. So you get wear on the teeth on the gear as well as the engagement ring. So this is sort of where you're looking for wear, is on your teeth on your engagement rings and on the teeth on your gears. That's where you're really looking for wear. So far, I will keep going in a minute. Aside from that, as far as like your speedo gear and that sort of stuff, there's not really much to look for because that sort of stuff doesn't necessarily fail, unless it's obviously gone bang and you've broken bearings or something. But aside from that, you just sort of tick along, that's what you're looking for. There's also, you get wear on these fork pads. So an advantage with the reverse engagement ring is that it only uses one side because there's nothing on the back side of the reverse gear. So basically these teeth are always going to be on a box that's not been apart yet. These teeth are going to be brand new. So if your teeth on your engagement ring are a bit worn, which these are starting to get a bit worn, you can just flip your reverse engagement ring. And you got a new engagement ring. So at this point we're at another point where you're going to be looking for something that's pretty common in T56s. Now on the main shaft here we've got our 5 and 6 overdrive gears, or basically got the gears on the main shaft. These should be pretty well pressed on. If you can lift them up like that by hand, that's not good. And so what actually happens is you get wear on the shaft, and it wears the shaft down, and this gear has enough play for you to be able to lift it off by hand, which means that it creates vibration when you're in 5th and 6 under load because it's not actually tightly on the shaft. So that's another common issue you're going to be looking for. Another thing to check once you've got the tail housing off the box is these magnets here. Obviously check if you've got really big shrapnel in your magnets, you've probably got big problems. And to get these out, they put like a whole heap of Loctite on them from factory. So just get a butane torsion oxy and just heat them up mildly just to soften up the Loctite a bit so you can undo them. So now with all the hardware out of the outer casing, it's time to actually undo the bolts that we cracked before we put it on its end and pull the casing off. So while you lift this case off, watch this little selector because it'll slide off this shaft, and it's got a little preloaded ball bearing or little ball in it, which is actually for the notch for your shifting. So just watch you don't lose them as you lift it off. Quick rundown on how this is now. This is basically your selector shaft, which runs on the H pattern, which you saw in there. It's usually pinned in that. So this has got a pin that rotates across these 4 selectors, which all run to, basically this is your first, second, third, fourth selector shaft. This is 5, 6 reverse. And basically as you sort of move, you can see in that, as you move your shifter, it engages a different fork, which engages a different gear. So that's just how that works. I can't really do it because my hands are greasy and there's nothing to get leverage on there, but you can see in that, there's that pin there. So as that engages a different fork, you can go up and down, which engages your engagement ring, and bob's your Arnie. So that's how that works. These are basically very similar to what I showed you with 5 and 6, except 1 and 2 are different synchros, which I'll show you as I get them apart. So you can see here the teeth on the gear are actually quite good. Not as worn as I thought. Normally with the Synchro goes, you get a lot of grinding, like I said with what I showed you with your reverse, and it grinds these flat. But you can see that these still somewhat have a point for engagement on them, which is yeah, quite good. See, our first Synchro is actually a little bit different in its design. That's the part that actually goes into the selector. So that's in your selector. The teeth on that are a little bit worn, not too bad. Now, you see this is actually more of like an organic clutch plate, which basically is chamfered or a cone shape, so that as the engagement ring pushes down on the gear, it slows it down so that it can engage.
So that's what GM did for first and second on the T56. Now obviously, like a clutch does, these plates get hot and they wear, and all sorts of funny stuff. So that one's pretty far gone. You can see there's a big wear ring in the middle of it. Alright, so with this main shaft out now, you can see what I was talking about with 5th and 6th. You can see here where they were on the shaft. It's been sloppy and it's gotten sort of hot and vibrated and whatnot. Doesn't feel too bad. Basically the only thing you can really do about this, besides sourcing a new shaft, which obviously for us in Australia is a bit weird because there's that many different T56s in America, is to get a machine shop to actually build it back up and then machine it down so it's a bit tighter, and then you can press it back on. Alrighty, so as you can see, the gearbox is pretty much all apart. Like I said before, you can see on this main shaft where that 5.6, where it sits, where it's, yeah, not doing very good things, which is not ideal. So, basically, I need to get on to Melwood Automotive and see if they know a machine shop that may be able to machine this back up for me, and then machine it. I'll build it back up and then machine it down so 5.6 presses on properly again. As far as all my selector rings goes, this is 3rd, 4th, and you can see on this one, just got a ring in there, but you might be able to see on camera, I'm not too sure, but that 3rd gear side is pretty bad. 4th, not too bad. 1st, 2nd is the same. I've got one side that's pretty bad and one side that's not very bad. My consensus is that the real bad side was 2nd gear, obviously, and the pretty good side's probably 1st. So what I might do with that is just turn it over so that the bad side's on 1st, because generally when you're going into 1st, you're always still. So generally you're still in 1st gear when you're shifting into 1st, which means you've got less engine speed, which means that I'm pretty sure that little bit of wear should be fine. Well, they're not completely flat, but they are flattened down a bit. So I think I can get away with 1st, 2nd selector ring, flipping it over. I'm going to need new selector ring for 3rd, 4th, I believe. All of the gears actually look quite good. I'm quite surprised at the lack of wear on the gear side for where the selector goes. And I'm going to need new synchros 1st through to 4th, because all the synchros are pretty how you going. Apart from that, all the bearings in this box actually look quite good. Obviously the box always had good oil in it, everything was always pretty right with it. Seeing as I've already got the rebuild kit, which has bearings in it, I'm going to replace all the knee roller bearings, all the bearings that I need to replace. What I am going to leave though, depending on what the machine shop can do, I'm going to leave these end bearings in the main shaft, the counter shaft, and also the extension shaft. Basically the idea behind that is that if I leave these bearings on, I don't have to re-shim the box. So you can see in here there are actually shims which house these bearings. So I can show you on this counter shaft where it goes in. It actually sits in there on a shim, and you're supposed to shim up your end plate and your preload on the, or your end plate on the main shaft, and your preload on the counter, I think it is. Don't quote me on that, I'm 100% sure. But either way, my idea is behind not changing these bearings, because there's nothing wrong with them. There's no hot spots, there's no scoring, nothing really wrong with those bearings. So I'm going to leave them, and that way I'm not going to have to shim this box up again. So I'm basically just going to leave it shimmed the way it was. Going to leave those bearings on them shafts, because there's nothing wrong with them. Truthfully, there's not much wrong with the needle roller bearings in this box either, but the fact is I've already got new bearings, so I may as well change them. I'm going to put my new keys in first, second, third, fourth selector rings, and obviously, yeah, like I said, new selector ring for third, four, and new synchros for first, three to fourth. As far as 5 and 6, I'm not really that worried, but yeah, I'm just going to have to get on to Melwood Automotive and order some new parts. But there you have it. That's T56 teardown. Also have new seals for the output and new seals for the input shaft. All new seals for it, so that should all be very good. If I've missed anything, I'm sorry, but I will try and go through it again when I put it all back together. So it really just depends how long it takes me to get that gear from Melwood, and see if I can get that main shaft machined for what I want. If I can't get it machined, I'm not super worried, because it's pretty much going to just be a drift car. If I can't get it machined, I'm just going to put the box back together and just basically keep out of massive load in 5th and 6th. Because I do believe that it'll pretty much still last for a long time. It's just that it gets that vibration under load, which is not good. But with the T56, 5 and 6 are both overdrive gears, which means they're not super strong, which means they're not good to be under massive load anyway. So obviously in a drift car, not really going to be spending a lot of time in 5th and 6th, essentially. So I'm going to try and get it done anyway, just because I've got the box apart. I may as well try. But if it's going to be too hard or too expensive, I'll probably just flag it and put it back together. But anyway, so I'll be back fairly soon with the rebuild, so keep posted. And if I've missed anything that you want to know more about, let me know and make sure I cover it when I put it back together. But yeah, this is pretty much how it's going to be until I get that sorted. So cheers guys, I'll see you next week with some more stuff.